Hello, hello, hello. I'm Josetta Yvonne, your book bae for today. I wanted to come on and do a quick book review on this book. It is called Dodging Energy Vampires, an empath's guide to evading relationships that drain you and restoring your health and power. This right here is a old read, but a good read. And as usual, if you see me with all the tabs, there was a lot to be learned. So I would 10 out of 10 recommend you read this, especially if you are an empath and you are easily impacted by others' emotions and pick up on people's feelings. So let me read the back of it for you. Let me see. Oh, here we go. We'll go from the inside because this right here from the back. Okay, so here we go. During my decades on the front lines of women's health, I have seen countless women suffer from seemingly inexplicable health conditions. These women eat well, they exercise, they take care of themselves, they manage families, jobs, homes. On paper, everything looks great, but each time I dig deeper into their lives, I find that there is another person at the root of their problems, a person who seems to be literally sucking the lifeblood from them. I refer to these people as energy vampires. That's why I've written this book. I wanted to bring together some of the best research that's been done about this topic and combine it with the experiences from my own life and the lives of my global community members to provide clear advice for exiting and healing from unhealthy relationships. If you follow the advice in this book, you'll be able to ditch the darkness and create radiant health, brilliant relationships, and a joyful life. So then she goes on to say on the inside here, highly sensitive people or empaths see life through the eyes of compassion and caring. They were born that way. As a result, they carry a tremendous amount of inner light, but they're also the favorite prey of vampires who feed off empaths' energy and disrupt their lives on every level, physical, emotional, and financial. In Dodging Energy Vampires, Christiane Northrop draws on the latest research in this exciting new field, along with stories from her global community and her own life, to explore the phenomenon of energy vampires and show us how we can spot them, dodge their tactics, and take back our own energy. Okay, so this was a really great book. Let me share a few tidbits that really resonated and may interest you into wanting to read it. So let's see. We talked about the impacts of how it makes you sick. But let's delve into she talks about the health risk of unbalanced relationships and how they're often the cause of someone at home or work that is draining you. I had another area in here I wanted to share. She says here, many times empaths always carry weight in the middle. They are apple-shaped with excess belly fat. This weight distribution acts to protect the solar plexus. Thought that was interesting. So let me get to the part, there was something in here. Okay, so on page 77, she goes in to describe the vampire. It says charismatic vampires tend to surround themselves with followers who hang on their every word. Just like the guru situation, these minions often do the bidding of the vampire, just like the flying monkeys in The Wizard of Oz. They often have a complete disregard for right and wrong. Character is defined by how you behave when no one is looking, but vampires often commit their biggest crimes when no one is looking and then turn into model citizens when the camera is on them, like a politician who weeps with compassion on camera but lines his pockets with taxpayers' monies when the cameras aren't rolling. Looking good is one of the most cherished values of a vampire. So confronting any weakness in them or suggesting an area of improvement is often met with stonewalling or rage. Their self-esteem is derived from personal gain outside of themselves, how they look, what kind of house they live in, and what kind of car they drive. They can be pathological liars who are often excused by society because they are so good at manipulation. They minimize, outright lie, or tell half-truths, leaving out details. These master manipulators are often enabled by society that they can quite literally get away with murder. They refuse to take responsibility. They are predators who prey on empaths by hooking them with sob stories, such as "my wife had an affair and left me, and now I never see the kids." Vampires are often bored, so they like to keep things stirred up. Hence, they are often very flirtatious, fun, and entertaining. It says here some are hypersexual, and they're very good at it, and that they are rarely monogamous and often have affairs. So it says here, when you're looking at your relationships and your interactions with someone whom you suspect to be a vampire, look for the use of these common manipulation tactics: being aggressive or covertly aggressive to get their own way, the need to always win, they won't take no for an answer, and if you try to resist, they wear you down until you give up. Lies that portray them in the best light, no matter what the situation or their real part in it. Super competitiveness and fighting for the upper hand, making sure to always display their power. No straight answers, even to a simple question. For example, they may answer the question, "Can I count on you to pick up the groceries tonight?" with, "You know how tired I get after work." Blaming others for their own hurtful actions and laying on guilt trips in order to make you feel bad. Those are things that she considers to be vampire traits. She says here also, they often exhibit vengeful behavior, and they're frequently angry, lack remorse, and are incapable of intimate relationships. They often exploit others through deceit. Very interesting. I haven't read this in a while, but just rereading this, it's like, wow. You have to really evaluate what you're accepting. Let me see if there's anything else I wanted to give you out the book. She goes into detail also on how to heal from it. She has an imprint removal process in the book. She also gives you steps to rebirth yourself after. She discusses ancestral wounds, which we know we all have those, especially if you come from a Black community. And then at the very end, she gives resources. So if you are into self-care, if you are an empath, or if you are looking for ways to work on healing yourself and rebuilding yourself after you've been in a vampire relationship, then this is the book for you. Check it out. It is super good. It is so worth it. It has so many nuggets in it, and I think sometimes we don't even know when we are being sucked dry. And it's easy to overlook certain qualities in people when you're in a relationship with them, when it's romantic, when it's friendship, when it's, you know, siblings or family, period. I think we sometimes downplay those things, but I think we have to really remember when we leave that person or when we're around that person, we have to remember how it's making you feel. Like, what are you feeling? Anxious? How does your stomach do flip-flops? Do you feel nauseous? Do you get a headache? Like, sometimes our bodies are screaming and saying, warning, warning, this person is not a safe space for you. It's so crazy. I was listening to a podcast last night, actually, as I was working, and a young lady was talking about her fiance and how, I wouldn't say he was love bombing her, but he'd be gaslighting her and, you know, saying one thing and then saying he didn't say it, making her question her mind, and if you know, if she had made it up. And he proposed to her, and she's super excited. You know, she's like, I love him so much, we're gonna get married. And she started having like rashes, and she thought it must be something I'm eating. And so she started watching what she ate. But she wasn't eating anything new or different. So she went to the doctor and did all these different tests, allergy tests. And they're like, nothing's wrong with you. Nothing is like physically wrong with you. This isn't making sense. So long story short, she ended up breaking up with her fiance and giving him his ring back and breaking it off. How about the rashes disappeared? It was stress. It was the stress of the relationship. It was the stress of the gaslighting. It was the stress of him doing things that's in this book, like they was just saying about how to recognize a vampire. These are things that she was overlooking that he was doing to her, that she was being dismissive of. And it wasn't until she gave the ring back that she started to think back about other things that was happening, how, you know, the frequent headaches or the loss of appetite, just a list of things that she basically had, you know, thought was something else, but really it was connected to the guy she was engaged to and was in a relationship with for those years, but she had dismissed it as, you know, nothing. So yeah, be mindful of who you're letting into your space. Be mindful of how your body reacts when you're around people, because it's a book called The Body Keeps Score. I have it actually on my TBR, but I have not sat down and read it yet. But I really want to, because I believe that many times it is speaking, but we're not listening. Yes. Anyway, have an amazing Monday. Take care. Check this book out. It is so good. You would enjoy it. It is a great read. To me, it is self-healing, self-care, and very educational. I know everybody doesn't like to read educational, but I do. Anyway, have an amazing day. Take care. I am speaking inner peace, positivity, and power over you. Bye-bye. Have a great one.